We will be starting in 5 minutes. Where the water tastes like wine. Oh. All right, so just gotta share the link to Facebook. We're good to go. All right, here we go. Got my Tim Hortons beaver mug. Love the beaver mug. Dad loved beavers. I was in beavers. Dad was my leader. He was rusty. Yeah. Alright, so here's episode 2 of Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. If you hear any background noise, it's because people in this house don't seem to understand that they can talk to themselves loudly with their doors closed in their rooms, not out in the hall. And they can use the washroom with the doors closed, not the doors open while they're, again, talking to themselves for some reason. They can watch TV loudly with the doors closed in their room so that other people can't hear them. I don't understand why they don't seem to grasp these concepts. But if you hear background noise, that's why. I don't remember a decent amount of the stories. No, I look terrible.
He's small for his age. Boy of 13 or so, sitting on an upturned bucket by the side of a tiny wedge of farmland. The dog, as though by contrast, is massive, an enormous yellow-brown mutt. He's called Rover, the boy explains.
Pa says he can't come with us. West.
You notice the Model A truck on the yard, piled high with furnishings and trunks and bags and knots of rope to tie it all together. And upon all that, too, yet more dust and grit.
Paul says it has to be better.
With one toe tip, he scratches a parabola on the dead, dry ground.
Paul says we can't afford to feed Rover no more.
You can't tell where the blonde of the dog's coat ends and the omnipresent dust begins. Same goes for the boy's hair.
Will you take him?
Rover follows you eagerly after you feed him the tiniest sliver of jerky. But a few hours later, he snaps to attention, as though hearing some distant noise your ears can't catch. The last you see of him are the markings left by his dirty pelt on the leaves of the underbrush.
Well, that's a bummer. Be neat if you could have like a pet companion, develop like a relationship with them or something, and maybe they provide some sort of bonus. I don't know. I just feel bad for the dog. But hopefully he can take care of himself.
First tree in a mile, and it's a stout myrtle with bald branches.
Well, I can't.
No relief from the sun out here. Leaves would help. Someone hadn't replaced them all with dusty glass bottles.
What a weird way to kill a tree. That seems sadistic almost.
You cool down in the shade. The breeze blows through the bottles, making a series of heavy, hollow sounds.
Oh, man.
You think about wind chimes and the smell of fresh pies on windowsills.
You can't just fall asleep outside so nonchalantly. It's irresponsible.
The dense sound of many conversations cuts your nap short. There's no one around. Not until you look up at the bottles.
Can't get enough. Porcelain, chrome, the rusty ones. Gotta turn those sleek faucets. Ever find me in a hardware store, I'm gonna haunt it till the cows come home.
Well,
Interesting. Oh, that's a story. 185 steps to go. I don't remember that one. This is very odd. What's happening? Is it to be nighttime? Oh, didn't I catch a car?
Faded shotgun houses sit in rows under the tall shadows of smokestacks. As you shut the door, the man glances out the window and draws the shades, Landlord toss you out? Ha, don't mind me, it's none of my business. He pries up a floorboard with a crowbar.
I bet it's going to be some kind of literature on labor unions or socialism or something. Pretty based literature.
You glance over the man's shoulder to see inside the compartment. Canned goods. He hands you a can of whole potatoes, then a leaflet which reads, "No evictions, no fascists, no hunger."
Yeah.
Headed back to the shop, but we'll have a Bible meet soon.
Based. Wait, not the Bible meeting. Yeah, I'm not about that. Well, I mean, if this guy's form of Christianity was more indicative of the general form, representative, I travel around.
Nothing wrong with that. Careful in those boxcars, Trap.
Will do, sir. Let's get back to that campfire, see if we can hit it up now. The immortal seagulls. Sure. Florida Georgia Line. Is that the name of the band? I gotta check out that band. Nobody ever believes me. So many stories being told here. What the heck? Am I just gonna keep going back and forth? Like at this point, I'm mad. I want to spite it. I will spend the next 2 hours just bouncing between the 2 houses. Oh, now I'm tired. Okay. I guess this is just not a thing then? I don't know. There's no way to... Alright, whatever. What the heck? Is there really nowhere to sleep or eat or... Cool. Guy was nice. He's a homie.
A sign in town says a farmer is hiring for the sugarcane harvest. A bag-eyed man drives you and 10 hungry strangers out into the cane, where he leaves you. Everyone gets a hatchet, but no instruction. The foreman is missing for some reason. Nobody is sure what to do. A young man in a red jacket stuffs all the hatchets in his pack. "This is stupid," he says. "I'm leaving. You can get $5 for a nice axe like this." He marches off into the cane, and others follow. "Don't!" a young woman shouts after them. "It's not right."
Oh, I feel like I don't owe the farmer shit. Has this guy paid us yet? Like, what's the deal? On the face of it, it seems like bullshit.
The thief left some hatchets behind, so you and the 3 chumps left start chopping cane. It's brutal work. Sometime after noon, the truck rolls up with a boozy foreman riding shotgun. "Good work."
I feel like there's this lesson that I was supposed to learn from that.
A family of 9 invites you into their home for a meal. Hogs roam free in the yard. They wallow in shady patches of cool mud, not paying any mind as you pass. During supper, The hard wind puts an awful burden on the walls. The glass dishes rumble on the table, but the mother seems calm.
Can't butcher a hog in these parts without me, Ma, hollering for pig's feet.
The mother raises up her shoulders into a stern posture.
I teach my children to only fear the Lord. We don't have haints, just me, Ma.
Hates. Wait. No. Let's see. Map. What are these symbols? I guess it's, oh, it's just showing where I've been. Okay. I've gotta go. Yeah, I gotta keep going south. Almost sounds like the Roseanne theme song. feel like I should be able to access that fire up there, and I feel like that's the guy I'm trying to get to.
We need a sixth,
she told you, beckoning from the steps of a great dark mansion. And just like that, you found yourself sitting with strangers around a velvet-draped table. Her voice is reedy and high, modulated by the tight collar of her Victorian dress.
Join hands, everyone.
Your host keeps her eyes closed as she beseeches the spirits of the dead. But everyone else around the table lets one lingering, awkward glance bounce around between them. You sense they're just about done humoring her when it happens. A deep, nasty thump beneath the table. The whole table starts to shake, threatening to lift right off the ground. And then, the staid candle flames start flickering like mad, casting ghastly shadows on the walls. And then, a viciously cold wind cuts through the parlor like sharpened ice. The damned candles are dancing in mid-air around you now, singeing a hair here and there off the coiffed heads of these well-heeled guests. You notice your host across the table has her eyes open wider than they should go, a rivulet of blood dripping from her nose.
Whoa. Yeah, let's ride or die.
When you come to your senses, sunrise has begun to creep in. The parlor is empty but for you and the woman in the old-fashioned dress, who slumped dejectedly over the table.
He didn't show up. All that sound and fury, and no sign of his spirit.
Yeah, it's a hell of a story.
Excusez-moi.
Beckoning you over, the woman shows you a letter, beautifully typeset on thick vellum. You're struck by the scent of a fancy department store. She points on the parchment to the address.
This address, you know?
Her accent is very thick. You are dismayed to read the first paragraph. Lorem ipsum dolor sit amet, and the address under the monogram in the letterhead. 12345 Road Street, Anytown, USA. The woman blinks, hopefully, leaning close over your shoulder.
Yes? You know this place?
She asks. poor woman. She's been tricked. This place doesn't exist, you try to explain as loud and slowly as possible.
Of course you exist.
The woman snorts, thumping a fist to her chest. You struggle to make yourself understood, but the poor woman whisks the letter away and stomps down the street. Ah, well, c'est la vie. You emerge from the underbrush and find yourself at the edge of a field. A farmhouse sits at the other end. Close by, a large family is tending to the plants together. They pause and regard you, almost nervously.
Hello there?
The grandmother asks. The family is almost too nice to you. When you ask for water, they don't even let you walk to the pump by the house. A child runs back to the shed for a folding chair, and they serve you lemonade in a glass among the lettuce heads. Halfway through your glass, you notice someone moving furtively down by the house. The cuffs of his white shirt are stained red. The father sees your look and shifts to block your view. His eyes are bright, and his teeth are bared in something like worry.
How do you like your lemonade?
His wife arrives with a bag full of sandwiches for you, and the whole family ushers you back into the woods, waving, wishing you well. You take one look back over your shoulder. The man by the wall is gone.
Wow. Where to go, what to do, who to see. There's a city down south, I assume that's Miami. Probably get some rest and some food. What is that, Route 41? Is something, are cars heading north on Route 41? I just absolutely love the fact that there's no map. I mean, I'm fairly comfortable with my geography, but especially, I mean, I mean compass. I need a compass. It would be nice to have an overworld compass, so you don't have to see where you are in relation to like the given state you're in or what's next to you, and say, oh, okay, is Mexico south of this state? Right. Oh crap! Mexico south of every state. Son of a... You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why it's frustrating. I'm just. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna see if I pass that along the way. No, that's dumb. Okay.
You've enjoyed a break on the beach, staring off the edge of the world, but the sun is starting to go down, and the breeze is getting stronger. He smiles weakly. I just got fired. First Spanish-American radio host in the state, and they fired me. They needed to make cuts, I get that, but I'm twice the... I could try the docks, but there's already more men than jobs, and I could barely support the family on what they pay. He hangs his head. And my boy, I can't bring myself to tell them. I don't know what to do. He calms as the sun drops below the horizon. An expanse of darkness is ahead of you. Turning back to the lights of the city reminds you that the world hasn't gone away. After a long silence, he speaks. It's never going to get better, is it? He doesn't reply. After a minute, you feel along the sand in the dark toward where he sat. Your hand closes on a discarded shirt. The rest of his clothes make a path to the edge of the water. You can't follow him any further.
There's no guarantee if I had been hopeful or less cynical that he would have done anything differently, but hope. Hope, 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 hope. Yeah, I messed up. That was not good. I mean, why did I do that? Oh my gosh. Full of mistakes today. Atlanta, New Orleans. I can't afford them.
The lightning starts in the next valley over. Then the wind picks up. The long grass hisses, and suddenly it's raining so hard you can barely breathe without a hand over your mouth. The lightning momentarily illuminates a farmhouse on the opposite hilltop, the only one for miles. Much closer, though, is a silhouette of a dilapidated barn. You pound and pound on the door of the house, but you only get confused shouts from inside. Soon, you give up and head to the unlocked shed, where the empty wood bin makes a good enough bed. In the morning, you're woken suddenly by the sound of clattering china. A tiny old woman bends over you, silently offering you coffee. She serves you half the pot before she lets you get up and leave for the morning.
Well, that was nice. Wow. Kindness of strangers.
The woman finds you as you wander the streets. "Come with me, child," she says, looking you up and down. "We're going to church."
I guess I owe her after that preacher helped me out.
You follow her to a simple clapboard building. There's no steeple, but a cross is painted on one side. Inside, you sit for what seems like years as the preacher drones on about the various virtues expected of his faith. Brevity is not among them, apparently. You pass a meadow where migrants have made a campsite. It's been trampled to pieces. A few families are fleeing, running as fast as they can back up to the roadside. An enormous bull stretches himself beside some of their squashed supplies. You inch close, and the bull charges. You sprint blindly through the high grass and trip hard into a sunken stream bed, dropping everything you own into the rocky shallows.
I got greedy.
The bull paces on the bank like a victorious general until you're sufficiently humbled. Then it saunters into the high grass.
Nice. Montgomery, Alabama. Wow. Some dark, dark stuff brewing in the States. It all starts down here. I'm gonna go see. I'm tired of hearing all these side stories, these ancillary stories. I'm gonna go test them out. Birmingham. Wow, man, these. Like, as a Canadian, the stuff I hear about these places, like, it conjures up like the worst things I associate with being a person. Like, just the ignorance and The hatred and the racist history is... Yeah.
I take a look at you and figure we're heading to the same place. You've been walking a long time, same as me, trying to find where you fit. You ever wonder if that place don't exist? No shame in it, I do. Plenty of time I wonder if I'll just walk forever.
Yeah.
You start to wonder, how did I get here? When you're alone, all you have is all this time.
Yeah.
Time to trace the lines back to where things started.
Oh man, this guy's speaking some truths.
So how about a scary tale? We're here at a campfire in the dead of night after all.
I got a lot of those. Yeah, that was scary as hell.
Well, you're good at telling these.
Thank you.
There's some sadness out there. Things get took from you. You realize that things get took from you, and you ain't never owned them in the first place. That's a dark place. You got any exciting stories? Anything that'll get my heart going? Damn, that's one surprising tale. Stories about traveler, well and good, I suppose. When I first picked up and moved, it weren't by choice. It had me in shackles. Got anything that'll make me laugh?
Those aren't funny per se. Let's see. That's not funny. That might be funny. There's nothing funny about Little Ben. Wait, no, the one with the cave. No. Thirsty God. Attempted color. Oh, that's not funny. Crap. I mean, maybe he has that, but I don't want to use those. I feel like that's cheap. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess I have to.
Thank you. I needed that laugh. Face. My father told me to... Look where that got me. So, tell me a sad story. Sad and true, okay?
Wait, what does he want? Tragic story. Oh, man. Where the hell's Little Ben? Was it Little Ben or was it the other one? Oh yeah, there we go.
I hear you. Change. When I was a young man, it took a while for me to accept that all things change. When I did, I leaned into it hard. Sometimes you need to salt the earth to get where you need to go. But anyway, you, know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight.
Can you really, really bum me out?
Body and soul. Some folks have choice. Sometimes you have options, but no choice. You understand?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you're told you could do anything, but there's only one thing to do. Here's the sun. I got to get going. My route goes up this way, but I sure did enjoy talking to you.
I feel the same way.
It's probably the kind of story you've heard a million times. Down on your luck, need work, take whatever you can get. How about you? Does my life sound familiar?
Yes, sir. The Devil of Leeds. It's gonna be the New Jersey Devil.
A bus roars up on the road behind you and slows to a crawl at your side. Inside, you can barely see people moving, dancing, swaying. Strings of lights, strange smoke.
It's a VW bus filled with strange lights, people dancing, and smoke. Sounds like it's a bus from the future.
Want a ride?
The driver calls. Before you can open your mouth, a huge hairy hand, like an animal's paw, lands heavy on her shoulder. "Not this one," a voice growls, so deep it vibrates your rib cage. The driver shrugs and leaves you in a cloud of perfumed exhaust.
Wow.
Here's a derelict school building. Shutters nailed shut. Wind-drifted dunes piled against the walls. Broken desks lined up in the basketball court. While you rest on the front porch, the doors open, and someone gives a startled yelp. He's an older man, tidy and unshaven, carrying a toolbox in one hand and brandishing a broom in the other. "Don't squat here," he growls. "We're not abandoned."
I wasn't planning on squatting anywhere.
You book it across the baseball diamond. He doesn't follow. And when you reach the road, you look back and see him pacing in the basketball court, teaching to the rows of empty desks.
I wanted to be the best blues singer in the world. I was born a poor girl in Memphis, Tennessee. No father. He run out. No mama either. She was there, but she weren't there really. All alone but for my Uncle Richard, my baby brother Marcus. All alone but for the guitar. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. That's like a song, pretty and sad. Some folks got choices. I was choosing between having nothing and having something. I didn't know it was a devil's bargain then. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. I drink to that. I got stories about sadness. Something in my mama just broke when my father left. Couldn't get her to eat most days, let alone feed me and my brother. Ooh, you got any stories with a bit of excitement to them? Ain't that exciting? Home. And sometimes home speaks to you. But I felt like a foreigner after Uncle Richard died. I dreamed all night of running away with my brother, discovering we were African royalty, a little prince and a little princess. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it. Oh, now, that pain. Oh, yeah, I felt freedom. There's nothing like the feeling when you sang and your soul leaves your body. Ooh, how about a story about the dark and scary things in the world? Ooh, now, that sends shivers up my spine. Talking about getting trapped. Sometimes I hated him. I hated that he was my only tie to Memphis, that getting Marcus fed was why I had to stay. The sun is up. One more night gone. I need to be going. If you want to hear more about the deal I made, you can look for me up the road this way. I was about 25 when I left my first record contract, no more richer than I was before. Those men took me around like a freak show, me and my guitar and my sad songs. I didn't know what to do once I was free again. Alone, drinking my sorrows. That's where the devil found me.
I didn't realize the compass appears when you stood still. I should have, absolutely, but I forgot, or I just didn't realize. Oh. Hopefully they just drop me off here. Dope.
Two brothers stroll up to you in the street, wearing identical scowls and identical steel-toed boots. One spits in front of you. "Don't stay in town overnight," the other says. "No vagrants after dark." You hide in an alley, but around midnight you're woken by bright lights and a rain of boots. As they hurl you back onto the road, you catch two familiar faces in the crowd, this time smiling.
We need a fight mechanic. The time where they beat the crap out of you and you weren't able to defend yourself. Damn, I'm almost dead. Well, everything worked out.
You weren't supposed to see this. Outside town, two men, identical, stand sentry over a third body half covered with a canvas sheet. Your excuses don't hold up against the shovel whipped into your side. You collapse near the body. Before the second blow knocks you clean out, you see, inches from your own, the face of the corpse. It's their face. When you wake up, the body and the brothers are gone. So's your money. It figures.
Memphis is an S-hole, man. Yeah, what, like, is there no jet, like, is there no way to... The water tastes like wine. Get effed.
Peabody Hotel. The words adorn the exterior wall, each letter the size of a window. The lobby is upholstered furniture and gold chandeliers, but such luxury is a mere accessory to the centerpiece. A travertine marble fountain in which 5 ducks swim. A handsome bunch of feathered fellows, all having a nice time in the water. A bellman in a blue cotton uniform, black cane cupped in his hands, takes notice of your interest in the waterfowl.
Would you happen to be here to witness the duck march?
A wide smile crosses the bellman's face.
Oh, a newcomer. Well,
Oh, yeah.
this is a little ceremony I introduced. These babies into the roof. Then I march them back down to this fountain.
I remember seeing a video about this recently on Reddit, and they still do this every day. It's interesting.
The bellman gestures toward the closest duck. You notice now, the ducks have had their flight feathers trimmed, though their beauty remains intact.
Now, don't look so concerned. I spoil them rotten. The feathers will grow back.
The bellman taps his cane on the marble. Right away, the ducks honk up a frenzy and hop out of the fountain. They beat the water out of their wings and waddle toward the elevator. Guys.
Oh, yeah. I can't do that. Oh my gosh. Memphis sucks. It's a terrible place to be alive. I messed up the rest of the song. Oh, give me some money. Panhandling never pans out, so I might as well look for some work. And I got nothing but time. And nothing but a complete lack of cash. Wow. A soda jerk. Have you read the ingredients? Can't be healthy for you. Anyway, I'm gonna go sell a bunch of it. Didn't really
It's
pay me much
nearly
either.
Christmas. Many are drinking liberally. A man staggers up from a down. People tut at the man's drunken state. A woman tosses a coin at him without even looking. The drunk clasps at his gut and looks straight at you. Help me. Please. He lifts his hand from his stomach. His palm is red with blood. You press a cloth on the wound, and he hisses with agony. Another man strides up the stairs, laughing. He looks at the bleeding man, sweeps his Stetson off in a theatrical bow, then turns to you. You best mind your own.
I could say the same to you.
He steps forward, smiling toothily. He twitches his jacket up and rests his hand just above a pistol. Good evening to you. Tipping his Stetson in a gesture of farewell.
What is a Stetson?
He walks fast, but not fearfully, and does not look back. The bleeding man collapses into a fetal position. His clothes are saturated, and a bloody puddle has formed around him. There's nothing you could have done to save him. You could speak to the police, but you didn't see the killing blow.
Well. Alright, let's get back on the road. Okay, I'm gonna head north. I assume that's St. Louis? Again, I'm not American, not necessarily interested in American geography. I just seem to happen to know things, pick things up here and there. Oh, I'm in St. Louis. Okay, well, here you go. Well, then where... Wait, St. Louis, Missouri? Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. More so than St. Louis, Illinois. No. What? Chicago? Is that Chicago? Oh, it's probably Chicago. Chicago. Illinois. I think the kid's over here. I gotta go talk to him, see what he's saying. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not the kid.
I've met a lot of people like you on this road. There's something you want from it, isn't there? A desire that scratches and scrapes away at the sides of your body. Does being out here feed that part of you? It's that way for me, living in a state of motion, resting nowhere, returning to no one.
This is the worst voice acting I've ever heard.
I've been a wandering ghost for a while now, and I'll be that way for some time to come. But that's a fate I should have known I was in for. I'm a poet, after all. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
Sure, Mr. Robot.
The tragedy in that story, it's real. Have you ever tried writing poetry?
Mm-mm.
Choice. That's hard. You believe you know what's right and what's wrong? A lot of people do, and I have to say, I wonder about those people. Did someone tell them and they believed it? Did they figure it out for themselves? When things got rough, would they stick to those ideals? Even the strongest of us can shrivel away in the face of the world. Regular folks like you and me can hardly do better. I need an optimistic story right now. Something to put a smile on my face. Can you think of any like that?
I'll go to Joy, but I doubt any of them have anything to do with any sort of... That's not really happy. That's not really happy. That's happy. Yeah, there you go. Happy ducks.
That's a good one. We do reach up like that, towards hope.
As we should.
Joy. I've had joy in my life. I used to be part of a group of mad prophets, rabble-rousers, channelers of holy knowledge. We'd get a couple gallons of wine, bring them over to our friend Pauline's house. Then we'd shout these incandescent verses to each other, to the land and the sky. We were loud late into the night. What good would those words do if they didn't reach the heavens?
Oh, you're insane.
Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that? That one was like getting locked out in the cold with nothing but your sorrow. I liked it. Change. I've seen a lot of change. Everything. Everyone I thought I had is gone. Our friend Pauline, she had a big house and a husband who often wasn't around, so naturally, that's where we went for readings. We were wild, radiant, sweaty, alive. All kinds of people came, and all of them were poets. All of them with such beautiful souls. Each with so many things to say and the true heart to share them. It's hard to believe that's all gone now. Alone, out here. I spend too much time inside my own head. Can you tell me a hopeful story to lighten my mood?
Absolutely.
Well, I can find that kind of movie theater story at any stop along the road. Travel? Well, I've wandered for a long time, but I only feel worse than I did before. I walk and walk and never get anywhere, never solve anything. I'm not even sure what I'm looking for any longer. If I'd known things were going to end up this way, maybe I wouldn't have fancied myself a poet. Turns out, it's a miserable way to conduct yourself. Don't worry about me, though. I'll be fine. Worry about taking care of yourself. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that? That one was like getting locked out in the cold with nothing but your sorrow. I liked it.
You're a one-note man.
The space you give to love is the same space you open yourself up for potential harm.
Oh, that's some cynic. That's some cynical stuff right there.
That's an old truism, and I'd read all about that kind of thing from an early age. So, it's not like it should have been a surprise to me. Still, I wasn't prepared for how much it all going sideways hurt me as much as it. The way I felt about Silas wasn't like anything I could remember feeling before. The whiplash from that is why I'm out here by myself now. I miss the old group. I really do. I still have that image in my head. Pauline's house, the poets, Jess, and me. But on top of them all, there's Silas. In my memory, he loomed. Do you ever meet someone so far above everyone else? It's like they were from a different plane altogether. That was him. A divine presence among normal human beings. Silas was part of the group, but at the same time, he wasn't. He was better than any of us. Wiser, gentler, stronger. We all held him in respect. We were in awe of his power as a writer, in reverence for the beauty of his soul. I still love him. Look, I'm headed out this way. If you find yourself out there, maybe we'll meet again.
Okay, we'll take a little break. I got reported on YouTube for something, and it was in bad faith or not true or a misunderstanding, and I feel like now I'm sort of being buried because I used to get like 3 or 5 views. Like, people would come and go throughout the stream, but it doesn't seem to be happening anymore. Where the water tastes like wine. I'll be back. And we're back. Where am I going? East. East for sure.
The car is a lifeline, your one hope to escape the encroaching storm. It rattles along a few yards ahead of the storm front, jouncing and juddering, one pothole away from being swallowed by the choking dust. A figure clings to support straps mounted on the back. You grab the straps and haul yourself up.
Oh,
Shouts the woman on the back.
a fellow observer.
She's wrapped in a scarf and aviation goggles, juggling a pen and a notebook while hanging onto the unsteady car. The dust scours your face and rips at your clothes.
We're not done with our observations.
She threads one arm through the straps and makes another attempt to write, but it comes out illegible.
Blast it. Get inside and take dictation, will you?
In my youth, there was a movie called Twister, and it was about these storm chasers who would chase tornadoes, hurricanes. Really popular. It made me fascinated with it, and it gave birth to like storm chasing, like this like huge, like I don't know if it's a resurgence. I mean, I guess like if we believe this, or if you take this for its word or whatever, what have you, then yeah, like this is something that people have been doing for like almost 100 years or something. Maybe even when they had horses, maybe they would chase storms like that, but I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I was just always fascinated with that as a kid. Like, wanting to know what the eye of the storm looked like, right? Like, living through it. It seemed cool.
No, just enthusiastic.
She shoves your head through the open back window, and you tumble inside. Pen and notebook land in your lap.
Ready?
You scribble furiously while she details the finer qualities of the dust and wind assaulting the car until her voice is hoarse.
That'll do.
She bangs the roof.
Judith, let's go.
Dope.
A hurried little girl collides into you with a wheelbarrow full of hay, nearly knocking you out of your shoes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You nod, but the way the girl fusses over the wheelbarrow, was that apology meant for you?
Oh, there's something in there.
Lost? Me? No, not at all.
She stands up taller and squares her shoulders, projecting an image of adulthood so stiff she looks about to tip over.
But I guess I could use a little help. Can I ask you something pretty, please? Well, I found this critter, but my daddy won't let me keep it unless I take real good care of it.
Relating this dilemma has put her on the verge of tears.
Do you know how I can be the very best pet owner in the world?
The girl bursts into hysterical laughter, like she just heard the funniest joke.
Well, I don't know how to feed it when it don't have a mouth.
The laughter fades, and her look of worry returns.
Any other ideas?
Why doesn't it have a mouth?
She smiles so bright.
That's all it takes? Gosh, I already love it so much.
That is so disturbing to me. East. Well, I mean, seeing as how we're here. Detroit Rock City. Nice. Unions, yes. All about them unions. Gotta earn some money.
The rain is coming down so hard, it's a wonder the sidewalk hasn't started to crack. You manage to find a narrow patch under a ledge where you can stay dry. A squat man, bundled up in a black fur coat and matching hat, approaches. The thick rain flattens and mats his fur. He squints up at you.
You're in my spot.
He crows. He leans in. You catch a flash of wrinkled red skin. The man gives you a long look, then turns and keeps walking. A minute later, the ledge collapses. Falling brickwork catches you hard on the shoulder. You cover up to protect your head from more debris and get hit by a crashing wave of water from above. You stand there, dripping and dazed. The rain abruptly stops.
Well, I suppose I should have shown more humility, been more respectful and courteous, and that's karma. I don't know where I need to go. Oh, yeah.
Why, hello there. Look like that's a heavy bag you're carrying. Let me get that for you. I insist. You see this uniform? It means you can trust me to make sure this is the most comfortable journey you've ever had in your life.
What is happening?
Who am I? Well, I'm no George, I'll tell you that. But that's not important. This trip is about you, friend.
Who is George?
Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to...
Sure. It's just sad now. I don't know if that's sad now. Optimistic. Come on, let's see. I mean, yeah, the fountain story with the ducks.
Just like I told you, friend. Miles of smiles.
Miles of smiles.
Joy.
Porter.
A good porter always finds his own happiness in the joy he brings to passengers through good work. You know what we call this job? Miles of... Anyway, you must have some funny stories to tell. Share one.
This man is charismatic. I guess that's not funny. I don't... Like, is it funny? That's not funny. Like, what? Do I have a funny story? I mean, gotta cheap out on this one.
I'll keep this story in my pocket for sure. It'll make some passenger laugh. Authority. Hopefully people who ride in a Pullman car feel a little of that. It's about more than a train ride. And not everyone knows what it's like to be the boss, to know what it feels like to be skillfully served. Pullman porters give you a taste, so boss George Pullman will know you'll be back for more. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
Hell yeah. For the life of me, I'll never, ever remember where each story is. I'm always gonna have to search. Like, I know which story I want. I just I can't for the life of me remember where it is. And I feel like some of them just go missing, right? Like, I think I have to go in and start choosing which stories I have. Where's the one? Oh, yeah, thrilling. Like, yeah, where's the one? Where's my storm? Like, it's gone now. Okay, whatever, man. Thrilling, okay. I think this might be thrilling.
Not sure my brothers will find that one particularly scary.
Well, you said you wanted thrilling. I mean, that's either thrilling or it's scary.
Well, my wishes have come true, that's for certain. When I was a boy, a Pullman porter was the best thing a black man could be.
Whoa. I'm starting to understand you a lot better.
Smart, handsome, well-dressed, and with a salary in his pocket. So you don't see me complaining.
I understand.
You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
Well, let me give it a shot. That's kind of exciting, isn't it? Scary. Oh, there we go. Hello. I missed it because I am the worst.
Didn't I hear that story on the radio? You told it better, though.
Well, it happened to me.
Home is where we go back to. It's where we belong. But there's nothing wrong with spending a little time in the rest of the world every now and again.
I suppose.
Know any good tragic tales? I feel in the mood for one of those right now.
See, that's not sad. That's sad.
Damn, friend. That one hit me hard.
It hit me hard.
But sadness. No sadness here. When you ride on one of Mr. George Pullman's sleeping cars, you leave your sadness behind.
Oh, man.
I can personally assure you of that.
Right on.
Another night over. I surely did enjoy all those stories, though. Maybe next time I'll let down my hair a bit. What do you say?
I'd enjoy that.
You must excuse me, friend. What kind of porter am I saying this trip is all about you, only to start talking about my own damn self? But enough of my indulgences. I hope I see you again.
Agreed. Wow, man.
Deep in the fields, you come across a group of young men clearing weeds and sod from a roadside plot. Pitchforks flying, weeds dying. You almost don't notice that the dark lump beside them is a dozing boy, lying smack dab in the middle of their work. There's an odd frenzy to the way these boys are ripping the sod apart. When they notice you approaching, they jog over and stand silently between you and their sleeping comrade. The youths share nervous looks. The oldest steps forward. Get going, he blurts. You step closer, and the ringleader loses his nerve. He died, he blurts. He was sweating and crying, and he just fell over. They won't come get us with the truck till sundown. You realize now that the sleeper's been posed. The ashy shadow on his face wasn't cast by a tree.
Whoa. Child labor laws, guys. Stuff like that is why you need unions and workers' rights.
Over a shared, crusty loaf of bread, the farmer notices you looking at a prominent, tattered scarecrow in the field. "Oh, you like old Barney?" he asks.
Does a damn good job scaring the vermin. Shame about the real fella. He was a funny one. Old Barney hiding out in our stables and lofts, just passing along. We liked him. Well, all except the sheriff. Barney never harmed nothing. I sometimes shared bread with him, just like you here. When he disappeared, leaving just the clothes we gave him, I figured I'd put him to use. Never got to know his proper name, neither.
Across the field, the wind in the corn whispers. Or is it the scarecrow?
Oh. Yeah, I want to see my story. Yeah, let's figure some stuff out here, shall we? Man, none of these are funny. I need to find more stories.
Just a moment there,
he says, shaking your hand.
I'm Paul Dalhart from the Republican Herald. You may have heard of it. Syndicated in 6 counties. Well, no matter. But listen, you may have noticed a vocal few out there, I call them naysayers, who throw up their hands and fly the white flag as soon as life gets a little tough. But wouldn't you agree that it's never been a better time to live and do business in this country?
I guess I kind of have to agree.
He nods happily, scribbles down your details for the paper.
I could tell you weren't a naysayer the first time I saw you. My thanks.
And his voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper as he palms you a quarter.
From a brother in arms.
What you talking about?
The man lowers his paper as you come near. His weather-beaten face is drawn. They say it's spreading. The dust is strangling the land. Half my cattle suffocated in the last storm. We cut open the carcasses to salvage the meat. They were filled with mud.
Whoa.
He licks his cracked lips. They stay dry. His land is dying. If the harvest fails again, people will too. You look past him, over his dust-choked fields. You can't imagine anything growing here. Where would we go? My family came here for a fresh start. All we have is our claim. His voice is hoarse. We came here when there was no more work back home. Now this.
Yeah.
If we leave, it'll just be something else.
That's the good point. That is the point.
Your skin prickles gently, though the sky is still clear. Duster's on its way. Big one. He calls after you. Come by in a week. I doubt there'll be a building left standing.
Whoa. Northeast.
The edge of summer has turned the ocean choppy and misanthropic, and the skies miserably gray. The boardwalk prophetess lured you into her tent with a promise to read a fortune for free. Seems like business has slowed to a crawl already. Before you lie the instruments of her profession. There's tarot cards, Rider-Waite, but also Marseille for traditionalists, rosary beads and costume jewelry, and of course, the centerpiece, a great glass globe. With practiced theatricality, she goes directly for the crystal ball, letting her eyes unfocus as though she can see a great distance into it. She brings up names, places, asks if you've known someone called John, if you have a relative in Newark.
Pretty loaded options here.
You latch on to what she says, and together you dance towards some insights about your romantic prospects. It's relieving to meet an honest charlatan instead of the ghouls and ghasts of the road. You might even say you're having fun, until she abruptly stops talking. Your eyes, she says, her voice suddenly drained of the bassy drama that was her stock in trade. You've met him. You've seen him, too. You carry him with you.
Oh, am I the wolf man?
The words that come out of your mouth are not your own.
I guess so.
They seem unwilling or unable to form properly out of a human throat.
Whoa.
They're more like snarls, warning noises of a vicious animal.
Well, it's crazy.
The glass globe shatters. Your vision is hazy, and your body is not your own. You came far to get away from me, the voice lodged inside you says. But this one has a way of wandering. The fortune teller has collapsed, cowering. Consider your debt to me repaid. When you come to your senses, you're lying face down on the rough wood of the boardwalk, sore and weak. An empty patch of wood, cleaner than the surrounding planks, is all that remains of the fortune teller's tent.
Wow. Well, that's not funny.
The bull lounges by this construction site, basking in the bitter sun. Upon his head is a silver crown shrouded in tongues of pale fire. Laborers periodically wander past, seemingly unconcerned. The bull catches your eye. You realize you've been staring. The bull arches his head languidly away from you. I'm waiting for my friend, he informs you airily. Now all the laborers are stopping and staring. Feeling reproved, you mosey along.
Is that funny? I'm going to try and use that as an example of good humor.
Stranger, it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna see this whole world one day, but for now, I just got my sights set on seeing all 48 of the great U.S. I already seen 10 whole states. That's better than my folks ever done, that's for sure. Plenty of townies and even some tramps treat me like I'm kid simple, but I ain't helpless, and I only act it when I ain't got no better choice, like if I get pinched. I do right fine on my own. Don't need nobody but Cass and Flip. I want to hear a story about ghosts or murderers or something. Scary stuff. You spin a good yarn. I was shivering there for a little bit. There you go, talking about family. Like I said, don't need nobody but my dogs. Flip's still a little green. Found him starving and angry by the roadside a few months back. He gets riled now and again, but he don't do nothing too bad if you just wait and let him get it out of his system. He's good to have around most times, and Cass sure seems to enjoy the company. Hey, tell me a funny story. You seem like you still got a sense of humor.
Mm.
I don't get too much out of tales that are so cheerful. Joy. I surely have seen some joyful scenes in my travels. Just a few trains back, I was invited to partake in a harvest by some kindly folk. Had quite the feast, and the dogs got to run around a farm. Wasn't till after I was heading out that I saw the little baby graves. Strange to play stand-in for ghosts. Seems joy's all mixed with sadness these days. Makes my head hurt.
Mm.
You got any happy stories?
I hope this one wasn't...
Were you trying to scare me? Well, you didn't go far enough. You want to talk about heaven? Ain't no good I can recall coming my life from praying. Small things, big things, no answer all the same. I'm in the mood for something real funny like. Not sure I quite follow that one.
Oh my gosh, come on.
Authority. The coppers and rail yard dicks don't ruffle me none. I just tell 'em my poor ma and my poor pa died of the pneumonia. I give 'em crocodile tears about trying to get over to my gran just down the way. All I got's left is my dogs, mister. Works damn near every time. Hey, tell me a funny story. You seem like you still got a sense of humor.
I mean, I guess. Is that even funny? What even is that story?
That was a chuckle, to be sure. I remember lots of folks talking about fate and fortune before I started my travels. Talk on the river was about them populists and their Louisiana governor. Some folks say they was up to no good, that they was lazy and un-American, cheating fate with government meddling. Others said we all got the right to be kings, if and we'd only let all folks have a fair shot. I suppose I ain't right in line with neither, but I don't think there's nothing un-American about needing help. Well, sun's coming up, so I've got to get ready to go. Thanks for the tales, friend. Where you heading next? Decided yet? Maybe our paths will cross. I'm going up the road this way myself. Hope I'll see something fun. I generally do, you know. There's interesting things to see everywhere if you keep your eyes open.
Cool. This always reminds me of like Final Fantasy or Ogre Battle or something, like these villages or huts inside a mountain range. No one ever believes me.
C.P. Pennebaker.
The dandy approaches seconds after you enter the saloon and extends his hand.
Syndicated in 16 papers. Trying to find out what life is honestly like for folks like you out here. Trade you a drink for your story?
Why not?
C.P. Pennebaker takes down your tail in a frenzy.
This is precisely what folks want to hear.
He cries. He pumps your hand vigorously on his way out the door, leaving you with the bill.
Oh, I got scammed.
You didn't think the musician would even notice you. He seemed off in his own little world, idly strumming and muttering along in tune. He stops and calls out to you from his perch on the sidewalk.
What's your name?
He winks.
Now watch this.
He sings Baby Won't You Please Come Home, but with your name in the lyrics.
Now,
He says,
if you found that meant something to you, and you want to show some of that appreciation, I sure would be obliged. I'm mighty obliged. I can see you got the flower prints in your heart.
You're about to ask what he means, but his confidential nod suggests that's the end of the conversation. You leave, feeling a little poorer in a lot of ways.
I mean, were those funny? I feel like the first one might have been. I mean, what did he believe?
First, Ma and Pa wanted me and Paul on the front lines. They wanted someone to be proud of, and I did as they asked. Then the government wanted me to take an IOU, and I did. When there were no more jobs, I, along with thousands of others like me, went and asked Hoover to pay up. General MacArthur was so scared of us, he brought in goddamn tanks to keep us from tearing apart D.C. So anyway, tell me a funny story? You seem like you know a few good ones.
Oh, a funny story.
You know, the government told us to keep our chins up too, but I didn't believe them either. My journey? If you look at it all at once, it'll overwhelm you. It'll hurt your mind. If you take it day by day, then it won't hurt quite so much. My foot bears it a bit better. Know any good jokes? I'm not so good at telling them anymore. Yeah, Paul would have liked that one. Making choices. Well, morals ain't important to the bosses, and not to me, and not to the war. They ain't doing anyone any good anymore. Tell me a happy story. Something to make the world seem kind. I liked that one. There's some hope left for you too, you know. Don't give it away too quickly.
That's some good advice.
When the memories swirl, I find joy again. Between the trenches, I catch a glimpse of Paul before he was gone, and the time before then. Well, have any exciting kind of story? My memories get my adrenaline up, but they're not exactly fun. You're fun to listen to, you know? A good distraction, anyway. Home? Everything has one, or everything should. Everything deserves one. I don't really tell this to people, but, you know those little purple thistles, the prickly ones? Cirsium vulgare, they're called. Common weeds, but I love the little scratchy flowers, and I feel a little disappointed yanking out their roots. They never hurt anyone. Do you know any happy stories? Hopeful ones? For a moment there, just a moment, I felt better about it all too. The past? I wish I could go back, before I had to mourn, and before all the hope was drained from me. Well,
Preach.
morning's come. The road takes me this way next. Wish it were taking me home. The family always did like Paul more anyhow. Loyalty to him is the only loyalty I don't regret. Even the other soldiers of the bonus army, they had families to go back to. I got my sister Jessie, and she's not letting her gimp brother home anytime soon.
Okay, well, with that, I think we can end the stream. And no one watched it, but that's fine. Yeah, I hope this YouTube stuff changes or works out for the better in the long run. Yeah, if you're watching this later on, thanks for doing it. We appreciate it. I love having you. And we'll continue on with our series next couple of days. So, take it easy, everybody.